National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at Rupavahini. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I am Charita Minipurarachi.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The effect of deep depression condition is gradually off. Rainy and windy conditions in the northern province to prevail. 15 deaths, 138,000 families in 24 districts affected. Relief services to continue, compensation for losses in cultivations. Priority by the government to narcotics control. 500 kilograms of drugs recovered in a joint Indo-Lanka operation. Japan commends the program of the new government. Talks about the second-rank leadership between SJB and UNP. 15 persons reported dead in a landslide in eastern Uganda, 115 missing.
On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. The director of the Meteorology Department, Ajit Vijayabana, says that the deep low-pressure system located close to the island is possible to move northwestwards up to the coastal belt in Tamil Nadu. Director of the Meteorology Department, Ajit Vijayabana, said that the deep low-pressure system is now moving along the eastern coastal lining to northward. He said that the department expects the system will enter into the Indian mainland through Tamil Nadu coast by tomorrow evening. He added that therefore the influence to Sri Lanka's mainland is decreasing from today. Ajit Vijayabana said that however deep and shallow sea areas from Trincomalee to Banna, Vakankasanture will be influenced. Mahavel Authority says that all the Mahavel reservoirs are now overflowing due to heavy rains. Kothmale, Polgolle, Bovathanna, Victoria, Randanigala, Rantambe, Minipe, Olhitia and Madurai reservoirs are among them. Director of the Irrigation Department, SPC Shogeshwara, said that the disaster has also brought us many positive things. He said that outside of the inclement weather, the major reservoirs in the country were up to the level of 53% of their full capacity. He added that with this amount, there was a risk of releasing water for cultivations in some areas. He said that however, at present, the total capacity of irrigational tanks and reservoirs have increased up to 81%. SPC Shogeshwara said that therefore, water can be released for cultivations without any problem for overall the 7 months. He further said that on the other hand, hydropower generation has increased up to a considerable level since the reservoirs are full up to 85% of their fullest capacity.
In the meantime, 132,110 families in 24 districts have been affected due to the disastrous situation. The number of affected individuals is 141,592. The death toll has increased up to 13. The Met Department says that the influence to the country's weather system by the deep low-pressure system is expected to minimize from today onwards.
Influence of torrential rains is still prevailing in the northern province. Our correspondent stated that 770 irrigational tanks and reservoirs in the Vaunia district are overflowing at present. Many low-lying areas have gone underwater. A person has been killed by a fall of a coconut tree onto a house at Topputota area in Vennapur. The deceased has been identified as a 74-year-old father of 4 children. About 3,000 acres of paddy lands in the Palliagodalla and Pamurana areas have been inundated due to the overflow of Kaudulla Vava Reservoir and the Mahaveli River. The Colombo-Battle main road, which has been closed for 3 days due to heavy rains, was again opened for vehicular transport this morning. It could be witnessed that several wild elephants in the Somavatiya National Sanctuary had reached to the close proximity of the Somavatiya sacred premises for their safety at the face of the flood situation. Deputy Minister T.B. Sarath yesterday engaged in an inspection tour to look into the well-being of the affected people in the Polonnaruwa district. He also held a special discussion with the relevant officials with regard to providing facilities for the affected people. Intermittent showers are still existing in the western slopes of the central hills. Meanwhile, Vimala Surendra Reservoir in Northern Bridge is still overflowing. Castlereagh and Mousekele reservoirs are still at spill level at present. Since all the sluice gates of the Natchaduwa reservoir has been opened at present, people living close to either side of the Malwatu-Oya river banks have been asked to be vigilant. 10 sluice gates of the Rajagane reservoir are still open.
And the Deputy Minister Namal Karunaratne says that the compensation will be given for the totally damaged crops of paddy, maize, potato, soybeans and green chilli. He says that a maximum amount of 40,000 rupees per acre of these crops will be provided. Deputy Minister Namal Karunaratne said that a methodology is in place in order to provide compensation for farmers who incurred losses, especially in cultivations of 6 crops like paddy, potato, corn, soya and big onions. He added that this will invariably be implemented by a large number of other crops which incurred losses apart from these crops. There is no methodology in order to provide compensation for those cultivated lands, and legal provisions are also unavailable in this regard. He also said that such data is being collected and maximum would be done to help those who are gathered those data. He pointed out that attention would be paid to areas which can be addressed, and the same will be discussed with the President, whereas financial provisions would also be discussed of the Ministry of Finance. A special discussion regarding the damages caused to the paddy cultivation areas was held today under the patronage of Minister K.D. Lalkantha. District Secretaries, Agriculture and Irrigation authorities were present at this discussion. The ministry instructed them to take measures to renovate the damaged irrigational systems immediately.
District secretaries today expressed their views on the disaster relief program implemented in the northern and eastern provinces. They said that an immediate program to provide relief to the affected people has been already implemented. District Secretary of Vavuniya, P.A. Sarat Chandra, said that only 1,878 individuals of the 818 families have been displaced at present. He said that they are living at houses of their relations. He added that the rest of the people have already returned to their own residences. He said that the affected houses have been cleaned. District Secretary of Trincomalee, Chamila Hettiarachi, said that about 3,466 families have been affected. He said that they are provided with cooked meals by the government. He added that as a whole, the disaster situation is almost managed. District Secretary of Jaffna, M. Pradeepan, said that affected people have been housed in about 27 safety centres. He said that they are being provided with cooked meals. He added that several houses have been totally damaged and some others have been partly damaged. He further said that people living in the Delft Island were airlifted to secure places and the government provides every possible support to them. District Secretary of Mannar, Y. Parandaman, said that cooked meals are provided to the affected people. He said that government agents are always looking into the needs of the affected people. He further said that members of the 3 armed forces are giving a significant support. District Secretary of Mullaitivu, A. Umameshwaran, said that all affected people are provided with food items. He said that a bag of dry rations adequate for 1 week will be distributed among them. He added that information of the affected employees will also be gathered. He also said that this is government agents to resettle the displaced families. District Secretary of Batticlaw, J.J. Muralidharan, said that relief is being constantly given to the displaced people. He said that some safety centres have already been closed down since the displaced families have already been resettled in their original abodes.
And meanwhile, steps have been taken to transport back the question papers of the GCE Advanced Level Examination, which had been provided to examination centres in the northern province with the help of the Air Force. A Bell 212 type helicopter of the Air Force was used for this purpose. Accordingly, advanced level question papers directed to the examination centres in Delft, Welladi and Nagdeep areas have been taken back to the Education Ministry of Northern Province. The conducting of GCE Advanced Level Examination has been suspended for 6 days due to the prevailing rainy weather condition.
According to the Central Environment Authority, the air quality index of many areas in Sri Lanka has gone up. The reason has been the incoming of pollutants into the country from the northern and inter-border regions due to the prevailing rainy weather during the past several days. Media spokesman of the Central Environment Authority, Dr. Ajit Gunawardena, said that generally a smoky condition could be seen due to the pollutants, dust and particulate matter in the atmosphere. He pointed out that the burning of polythene material and vehicular emissions, among other things, contribute heavily to this condition, and that is the reason why the air looks smoky. He also said that extraneous pollutants coming from outside the country have also contributed to this situation. Increase in the amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is considered harmful to humans, and certain persons face respiratory difficulties due to this condition. Those persons experience difficulty in breathing at certain times. Media spokesman of the Central Environment Authority, Dr. Ajit Gunawardena, is of the view that the air quality index in a figure below 50 in general conditions has been considered and an extremely good level. The air quality index, except Nuwara in other areas, has risen to 180 yesterday. A dusty condition could be seen in many areas of the island due to this. The air quality index in Jaffna and Mullaitivu areas today have come down.
And the Central Bank of Sri Lanka held a public seminar on the theme of unleashing the digital economy in Sri Lanka today. This seminar was held under the patronage of the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe.
As a country, Sri Lanka stands at the threshold of a significant opportunity to harness the power of digital transformation. Digital technologies bring opportunities to drive growth, improve access to services, and open up new markets for our business, and also address corruption and vulnerabilities. Whether it's fintech, e-commerce, or beyond, the digital space is reshaping how we connect with the world and unlocking new paths to prosperity. At the Central Bank, we fully understand how crucial the financial sector is in this journey. We're actively working to create a regulatory and financial environment that supports innovation while keeping the system stable. This includes promoting financial inclusion, improving access to digital financial services, and ensuring that everyone has a chance to benefit from the digital transformation. However, achieving these goals requires collective efforts. Collaboration between the public sector, private innovators like Dr. Virwan here, academia and policymakers is essential to building an ecosystem that nurtures innovation and ensures equitable access to the benefits of digital transformation. The path ahead may present challenges, but the rewards are significant and far-reaching. I am confident today's seminar will inspire new ideas, valuable insights, and foster important discussions on advancing Sri Lanka's digital transformation.
Now, what has made this possible? Of course, it's a combination of technology, connectivity, and regulation. Right now, the regulation is important because without that, you can't allow people to do these things. So, the regulator, central bank in particular, as for banking in this case, had played a crucial role in that. Connectivity is important because without that, I can't access it. It should be possible for most people, at least, to access banking online. Ideally, it should be possible for everybody, but it's not the case yet. But of course, when you say digital economy, it's not just banking. It is really every interaction between one entity and another entity that you need to support in a digital fashion. So, if you look at the government does a lot of transactions within the government. And by transaction, I don't mean payment only. Transaction means moving a file or moving an approval from one organization to another organization, sending a work transfer, all kinds of things that happen within the government in a G2G setting is part of what you need to facilitate if you really want to have a digital economy. And then government to citizen, of course, right? As a citizen, I want to be able to interact with digitally just as much as I can do banking. Any government interaction, I should be able to do digitally. And we can do quite a few things now, and many things are possible, but we're not where we need to be yet. And similarly, government to business. Every business is just another legal entity, and that should be able to operate with the government with digital. And then B2B, B2C, and citizen to citizen, right?
Colombo High Court today sentenced 6 persons to death who pleaded guilty for assassinating one person and wounding a few others. The court pronounced this order in a case pertaining to a dispute which occurred in Narahampita area. The assassination and wounding happened during a funeral where two groups clashed at Narahempita in 2016. Colombo High Court Judge Aditya Patapanage pronounced the death sentence after a long hearing. A case filed against Kehele Rambukpala and former chairman of State Printing Corporation Jayampati Hinkanda was taken up for hearing today by the Colombo High Court. This case has been filed on the allegation of causing losses to the government by paying his mobile telephone bill amounting to 230,000 rupees when he was the media minister through the funds of the State Printing Corporation. The Bribery and Corruption Investigation Commission has filed this case. The Attorney General today informed the Supreme Court that he would not be appearing for former IGP C.D. Vikramaratne and former Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne, who had been named respondents of a fundamental rights petition. Former Director of the Criminal Investigations Department Shani Abesekara filed the petition against his interdiction. Colombo High Court today ordered to acquit Rajit Senaratne and two other defendants in a case which had been filed against them. The case pertains to the pronouncement of a court order on allegations of causing prejudice to the then presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa in a media meeting held in Colombo in 2019.
And meanwhile, two Sri Lankan flagged fishing vessels were intercepted by Indian authorities in the Arabian Sea while smuggling narcotics, resulting in the seizure of approximately 500 kilograms of crystal meth. Based on information received from the Sri Lankan Navy regarding the probable narcotic smuggling by the Sri Lankan flagged fishing vessels, the Indian Navy responded swiftly through a coordinated operation to localize and intercept the boats. Extensive surveillance was undertaken by Indian Naval long-range maritime patrol aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft based on inputs from the Information Fusion Centre, Gurugram, and an Indian naval ship was deployed to augment efforts. Two boats were identified based on continuous inputs from the Sri Lanka Navy and aerial surveillance by an aircraft. Subsequently, in a closely coordinated operation between the ship and the aerial asset, both boats were boarded by ships boarding them, leading to the seizure of approximately 500 kilograms of narcotics. One additional ship was also tasked to augment the force level for conducting of anti-narcotics operations. The two boats, along with the crew and seized narcotics, are being handed over to the Sri Lankan authorities for further legal actions.
The second rank leadership of UNP and SJB have been discussed by two representatives of those parties. Said that a second rank of leaders is needed like the present leader and a good new generation has to be formed. She added that they will have to work with the leader in the same way a good team was in place in every sector after the then President J.R. Jayawardena. She pointed out that a change in the entire program has to be brought about. Navin Disanayake observed that a foundation has to be laid for the second rank of the party and preparation of the future program is also necessary. He pointed out that in case these changes were not implemented, the party would fall further down. He added that Sajid Premadasa as the leader should take action in this respect in order to discuss the future framework of the party.
And meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Parliament, Kushani Rohanadira, states that the sitting of the first session of the first week of the 10th Parliament would be commenced on the 3rd of December. She made these observations to the media. Secretary General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira said that the debate on the policy statement by the President is due to be held on the 3rd and 4th December. The necessary proposal in this regard will be presented by the government on the 4th of December at 5 p.m. and a vote on this is also due. Vote on account for the government is also due to be held on the 5th and 6th of December. The announcement of the procedure regarding the establishment of a forum of women parliamentarians will be announced by the Speaker during the session to be held at the 3rd of December. 94 members of parliament have applied for official residences. Kushani Rohanadira said that official residences for MPs without a house within 40 kilometers of the parliament have been allocated.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya is of the view that the control of drugs is prominent and immediate responsibility in the program of the new government. She made this observation at a ceremony held at the auditorium of Colombo Lighthouse. A prize distribution ceremony of the winners in the 2024 All-Ireland Drawings and Animation Video Competition was held today. Children who presented creative drawings and videos for the competition were also appreciated. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amrosuri says that the government thinks the national and international drug racket as a major problem, creating severe consequences for the future of the country and to the local economy, surfacing a social crisis too. She added that maintaining law and order has to be done on a priority basis, and the services of the Navy in special along with the security forces of the country is considered extremely important. The Prime Minister also pointed out that there has to be an attitudinal transformation in the young generation towards narcotics.
And on your more local stories, the Japanese government praised the steps taken by the new government to carry forward the country economically without wastage, fraud and corruption. This wave has been expressed recently when the ambassador of Japan, Kyo Izumata, had a meeting with Minister Dr. Nalinda Jadis. The meeting took place at the Ministry of Health between the Ministries of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalinda Jadis and the Japanese ambassador. Attention has been paid to the progress in the projects operated in this country under the JICA project. Special attention was paid to the establishment of heart catheterization in hospitals in Kandy, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura, Padula and Trincomalee. Fixing of solar panels in the hospitals of Kegol, Kurunegala and Sri Javardhanpura was also discussed.
The new Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Akio Isomata, says that there are many opportunities for Sri Lankans as the relations between the two countries expand into many areas. He requested the support of Sri Lankans for his endeavour of enhancing bilateral relations. Ambassador Isomata organized a reception to mark his taking up of duties as the new ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka.
I'm very glad to be able to come to Sri Lanka in the latter part of my diplomatic journey, maybe towards the end of my diplomatic journey. I served in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, before coming here. When I landed on Sri Lanka, we were looking out from the window of the airplane together with my wife, and there was so much green, and that was so refreshing. It really cleansed my mind. So I'm very happy to be able to serve in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka deeply attracts me with its multifaceted appeal. Long history, rich culture, religion pulsating in people's everyday life, and also diverse scenic beauty. And most of all, long-standing, ages-old, friendly and cooperative relationship with Japan. We do drink a lot of tea in Japan, but when I was a very small kid, like 6-7 years old, we didn't have many chances to taste black tea, Ceylon tea. It was a kind of quality tea that's only served when we have very important guests or on festive occasions only. And fortunately, unfortunately, we also share heavy rain and floods. My deepest condolences and deepest sympathies for those affected by this heavy rain and flood in Sri Lanka, loss of lives and injuries and property damages extensively. Aside from these episodes, on the work front, I have worked with Sri Lanka mission overseas because I have been posted in overseas postings for the past, let's say, nearly 20 years. We would like to continue this further promotion of people-to-people exchange, including inviting more Sri Lankan workers to Japan.
And the Rupavahini News YouTube channel has been able to record the number of monthly users continuously beyond 10 million. A unique feature had been the reaching of the news items among the YouTube ratings. Rupavahini News YouTube channel was able to receive a high level of response from the viewers during the past election time period. The number of users of the YouTube channel has exceeded 10,288,743 in the month of October. It has been a special feature that the same number has exceeded during the month of November by now. The figure is around 12,708,454. A news item was able to claim the fourth place in the YouTube ratings, and the news feature Face to Face had a viewership of 1 million, and it is among the views item. The number of viewers of the YouTube channel during the past 48 hours has been 1.4 million. The SLRC is thankful to billions of viewers who raise the status of the channel by having a great trust about Rupavahini News.
In the meantime, while a certain section of the society has been affected due to incessant rains, the same weather condition has enriched the splendor of environmental regions. Ravanala is one of them. It has become an attractively beautiful place for local and foreign tourists as well. A large number of foreign tourists have been visiting Alla tourist zone despite of the prevailing inclement weather condition. Ravanala can be seen by the roadside itself on a drive from Alla after about 6 kilometers in the Vallavai road. Ravanala, having a few levels, is about 40 meters in height. According to the folklore, the cliff above the waterfall has been used to park the Dandumunara flying device of King Ravana in the ancient times. It is believed that cave in which Princess Sita was kept captive is also situated close by the waterfall, and it is believed that she used to bathe in the waterfall, which is arriving through a tunnel. According to our correspondent, these descriptions have been helpful in attracting foreign tourists to this spot. Anyway, climbing the cliffs of Ravanala waterfall has been banned by the police. 4 tourists had died after falling from slippery rocks while they were walking on them during the past. Photography has been somehow allowed with police protection. Although the water volume of the waterfall is considerably low in the Ravanala, during rainy season it offers an incredible view.
The Kakirao Magistrate Court ordered to take into 14 days custody the suspect in connection with the electrocution of Degar, one tusker of Kalababa Reserve. The post-mortem of the tusker was conducted today, and it has been confirmed that the death was due to electrocution. The giant tusker, which has been frequently in the Kalababa Reserve, was found here near a residence in Anuradhapura, Adiyagama, Inguruvava area. Named as Diga 1 by Elephant Lovers, has been considered the largest tusker in the Kalababa Reserve. It was very popular among a large number of local and foreign tourists, who visited areas such as Nabulla, Sekiriya were fond of watching this tusker. Diga 1, the tusker, was around 40 years of age at the time of its demise, and it had been noted for contributing heavily to the national economy of the country. Due to the rise in the water level of Kalababa, with the continuing heavy rains, elephants in the area have been migrating to other areas. A large crowd attended to witness the dead tusker at the Mahasangha conducted religious observances with the participation of a large number of residents in the area. The post-mortem of the dead tusker has been conducted following an order of the Kakirao Magistrate this evening by the officials of the veterinary unit of Anuradhapura, Pandulagama.
We now move on to a few local news items in brief. Applications have been called to fill the vacancies of the Officer for Missing Persons. Applications are available at the Parliament website www.parliament.lk. Applications should be directed before the 9th of December. A stock of vehicles and equipment donated by the Japanese government was handed over to the airport officials today. Ambulances, garbage disposal trucks and many other equipment are among them. This stock is worth about $8.4 million. International attention has been focused to the first 7-star hotel chain in Sri Lanka, the Aviana Hotel Group. This matter has been confirmed at the Sri Lanka Trade Exhibition held in Crown Plaza in Dubai. Well, that's it on local news, and we'll be back with news overseas. Stay tuned in.
இல்லாதொழிப்பது உங்கள் திறமையும் கடமையுமாகும். வாரத்தில் ஒரு முறை என்றாலும் உங்கள் சூழலை பற்றி சிந்தித்து பாருங்கள்.
சுகாதார அமைச்சின் டெங்கு ஒழிப்பு பிரிவின் தகவல்.
Welcome back with international stories, and 15 people have died and at least 100 more are missing after landslide triggered by heavy rains buried dozens of homes across several villages in eastern Uganda.
The landslide occurred in Bulabuli district, about 190 miles east of the capital Kampala. At least 40 households were completely buried, the Uganda Red Cross Society said in a statement, while others were partially damaged. He added that more than 100 people were still missing across 8 villages. Police said that 113 people were missing and that impassable roads were preventing vehicles, including ambulances, from conducting rescue operation. Uganda has been hit by unusually heavy rainfall since October that has triggered widespread flooding and landslides in some areas. Moving on to sports news now. Today is the second day of the first cricket test match between Sri Lanka and South Africa.
And Sri Lanka in the second innings 130 runs for the loss of 5 wickets at stumps. At the commencement of the match today, South Africa were 132 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. Tristan Stubbs and captain Tembuba Bouba added a strong partnership of 249 runs for the 4th wicket. This has been recorded at the first instance where South Africa has recorded double century partnership at home after 2017. Tristan Stubbs scored 122 runs and he was able to record the second test century of his career. Captain Tembuba Bouba scored the 3rd century of his test career, scoring 113 runs. South Africa declared the second innings at 366 for 5 wickets and invited Sri Lanka to bat in the second innings. Accordingly, Sri Lanka faced a target of 516 runs to win the test match. And with that, we wrap up tonight news. Do just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita signing with Sharifah. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.